Okay, good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoy the food. I'm just filling in. We don't have the beautiful MC lady, so you stick with me. You stuck with me for today. All right. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Kasi, and I'm the SPE Thailand Program Chairperson. I will do the facilitator for tonight. We will do all the usual, giving you the brief, the introduction of SPE Thailand. And tonight we welcomed for the SPE monthly technical meeting for October. This is the second meetings of the new seasons. I'm sure a lot of you have joined our big event last month, our season opening. And we have a very good turn up last month. 200, almost 260 people joined. And we hope you continue to support us. You'll see very soon the sets of the new sponsors for the meetings. So again, we hope that you continue to support us through this. Okay, so the agenda as usual, we'll do a section announcement followed by the major talks by our speaker this evening, then Q&A, closing remarks, and then lucky draw. Before that, I also would like to tell you that tonight we do not have any fire drill. So if any is alarm, then please follow the hotel staff and be safe. As simple as that. So again, our SPE missions is simply I will not read this, but it's break down into two things. So first, we giving you an opportunity to network, right? We create all this event for you to exchange the knowledge, exchange any news, any things that you would like with your peer within the same E&P industry. And the second part of this is basically just to giving you new knowledge, where tonight we have the very interesting topics brought to you by International SOS. And we have we have a few doctors in the room tonight as well. Okay. Again, I mentioned earlier that we will have a new sets of the sponsors already supporting us. We do have, I believe, around 50 sponsors this season. So very fortunate. Again, thank you very much. And if you can give one round of applause for all the sponsors. Okay, now for those of you who just joined our meeting, if you would like to see your company sponsor up here, please let me know. Let any of the board member know. Of course, we're looking for supports and our society needs you. Okay. Coming to the number of SPE, as you can see in this graph, the total combining both the professional members, which is basically you and me, as well as all the 4 student chapters, we have over 1,000 now. Okay. But please take note that there are a few membership that's been lapsed. So please continue to join us as well as renew your sponsors. Okay. And definitely it's good for you so you can have access to many more things. And of course, invite your friends and colleagues not only to join this meeting, but also to join SPE International. There are several membership benefits for being SPE members. I will not read through this. You all know you've been in the industry long enough. You have some discount on the paper. You can get access to all the conference at cheaper rates. But above all that, SPE Thailand creating all this opportunity for you to networking and learn new things every month. Okay, then back to me again. I'll do the speaker introductions. Okay. So our speaker for this evening oversees the assistance services provided by International SOS Assistance Centers in Southeast Asia. She leads a team of doctors and nurses who is in assistance centers and at remote medical sites in the region to deliver quality medical advisories and clinical services. Speaker started her career at International SOS Malaysia in 2016, providing health advisory and solutions for organizations that have employees or individuals around the world, and also working closely with remote site medical teams in looking after patients in offshore and remote locations. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me for a warm welcome, Dr. Shan Yanjun, Medical Director from International SOS.
Um, Let me see. Good evening, everyone. Just call me Yanjun, okay? Once again, thank you, Kun Kasen, for the warm welcome. Hello, to Kun Ronald, Board of Directors or committee members of SPE Thailand. Thanks for this opportunity. This is my 20th year of practice. So before international SOS, I work in intensive care and the acute emergency sector, so emergency room. So I thought today, this is really special. I didn't know we have future engineers here as well. And of course, the very senior engineers. What I do work from day to day basis, at least for the past 9.5 years, trying to ascertain what kind of medical emergencies or it is just normal illness. Can we wait? Uh, can we watch for another day or two to decide how urgent medical care would be needed? So what are we going to see would be 3 years worth of data. I'm joined by my fellow colleague, Dr. Jamon. Most of the data comes from offshore Gulf of Thailand and also offshore Malaysia because both of us combined together, we have almost 95% of the cases in Southeast Asia. That's for the people we are able to look after. All right, we have briefly spoken about what we are going to see. There might be some slightly gory photos, but it will be okay. It's just meant for quiz. But I think all of you are scientifically based, so you should be able to stomach it. Anyone is afraid of blood here? No. Okay, thank you. All right, so I think for some background, right? So how many cases that we have collated to churn out the statistics that we are going to see? I just want to share with you that before 2021 to 2023, within the organization, we did a global data analysis. We realized there is certain pattern that we have seen in offshore environment, and and just like we kind of expected, even in Southeast Asia, years later, this is the second time we are doing the data, we notice the pattern didn't change. But could we do something a bit more to change how the landscape will be in the future? Maybe we can have a discussion later on. So out of the 5,041 cases, we can see Thailand and Malaysia cases are leading. This year, I think Dr. Jamon's cases are slightly more than mine. Yeah, so I will start working with him on the data probably early 2025. All right. So um, just to share with everyone, when we do our cases, we look at mainly three categories. So we want to manage on site. Now this is very important, right? Many a times there's a incorrect belief, I think, especially for someone like me who used to be working in clinical hospital area. I always would think if you are far out in the ocean, you must be very, very challenged in terms of medical care. It must be very, very dangerous. Actually, maybe not quite so. The nearer you are to a hospital doesn't mean you are working in a very safe environment. The further you are out there, it doesn't mean you are working in a very dangerous environment. Now, why is there the marked difference, I would think, and I appreciate, oil and gas sector is one of the um, most stringent industry that values safety and definitely health of people working in the harsh environment. So if we look at conjugate of 3 years of data, I have calculated um, when why 2022 we had more cases is actually because of the effect of COVID tail end. We're still seeing a lot of cases. People are not quite sure. Are we supposed to just, take it lightly? But the behavior become a bit better when we are entering 2023. Cases start coming back to fairly normal state. So we should see ourselves managing cases between 1,500 to probably about 1,600 year on year basis. Okay. If I do the simple arithmetic, the emergency medevac rate actually for the past 9 years I'm working with the organization, we are looking at about 4.5% to 6% emergency medevacs. We can't get lower than that, but most of the time we don't get anything near 8%. Okay. So non-emergency medevac would be we have time. If there is a crew change boat, there is a crew change chopper, we can use that. All right. A lot of categories. I try to make it simpler, but I think colors really work. Cardiac emergencies. So it'll be acute chest pain, sudden sudden collapse after witnessing someone having chest pain, or people who are found lifeless in the cabin room. Sometimes it happens. It makes up emergency medevac more often than not. Year on year again, it refused to change. We are seeing a big bulk of emergency cases due to something to do with the heart. We do know why. Later we can have a look at it. Now, injury is something that we are very worried in oil and gas sector. Number one is because limbs are sometimes very time critical, especially when it comes to finger, right? So if you lose the thumb and the index finger, it's a big deal. If we talk about personal accident insurance, losing a thumb and an index finger is 100% reimbursement, I remember, because it qualifies for total disablement. So fingers, later on we could see this is the most common type of injuries. And then lastly, something to do with our gut. Now, it can be very nasty sometime, and we can have a look at what is the worst when it comes to gut-related issue. So let's talk about the 90 cases that we had in that 3 years. We actually had 9 people who had cardiac arrest. Sometimes it is witnessed. For example, I'm working at a galley, and then a gentleman had a chest pain. We thought it is indigestion, so hi sir, are you okay? And then he started becoming really quiet and he collapsed in front of us. Now, witness collapse has a better survival rate. So it also explains why everybody in offshore environment should at least be brave enough to do chest compression. And if possible, we hope everyone knows how to use automated external defibrillator, the AED, right? Why is that so? Cardiac arrest, if it happens outside hospital, the latest data is 1 in 3 of them, maybe with chest compression and AED, you get a pulse back. Now, this small amount of people who get a pulse back, you manage to get into an ICU, you only have 10% chance to survive. Now, it means having a cardiac arrest outside hospital environment, it could be home, it could be offshore, it could be by the roadside. Not many people actually survive, right? But there will be that few miracles that happen. However, So everybody who understand, hey, that's not an indigestion. How come he's clutching his jaw? Toothache? He's having a wisdom tooth erupting. Not really. We can go down what are the vague symptoms of acute heart attack. If we respect the early symptoms, we would see out of the 63 people who actually reported they have chest pain, one of them passed away. Now, all of you here at some point in time, in the past, current, and future, you will be able to help these 63% people, 63 patients or crew or colleagues to get to shore safely by having that thought that it could be a heart attack and that urgent boat or helicopter would come. Yep, it makes all the difference. Now, sometimes our heart beat a bit funnily. It's not the coffee. It's not that 5 cups of coffee per day. It's also not those tea drinking, Coca-Cola drinking that we believe that maybe is due to caffeine. Some of us, we are quite fit when we are young. We play football, run marathon and all. And then one day, our heart rate decided to go right up to 200 plus per minute. And if we recognize it, we can do something about it. Out of the 11 cases that we detected, none of them passed away. So I think it is really worthwhile. And I sincerely thank all the rig managers, the offshore installation managers, all the HSE managers, and all people in that chain of survival for giving all these people 90 cases of them, 90 people with family and friends a chance to survive. Of course, some of them pass away. Now, I think it is very important that I think some of us here do know that most people who are a bit unhealthy or a bit more unhealthy, they might come from the not so sophisticated contracting company. It is not intentional, I would believe. It's because sometimes the health concept did not become that great, or the contractors, most often than not, they rely on day wage, right, to survive. So, for example, I have 5 kids to feed. My eldest one is going to university next year. I don't feel quite good lately. When I walk a bit more, 500 meters, I pant a lot. But if I keep quiet, put up a straight face, I could still board that chopper and go offshore and work. But bam, day 2, he goes into sudden cardiac arrest. So I think things like that may not be able to go away completely. So it relies on us, no matter what rank, what job, or what education level that we are having, that we just understand that the common heart attack warning signs, right? It could be just very mild. It comes and goes. Most often than not, it is described as a upper stomach pain or gastric pain. Now, many years ago, I would like to share with you when I started as an intern in hospital 20 years ago. We noticed some emergency room doctors love to do this. Every upper abdominal pain is a gastric pain, and they would discharge patient without a ECG done. You know, the 12 leads ECG. Fast forward, started 10 years ago. There is a change practice manner. Every pain around the abdomen area, we must do an ECG because this is what you are going to see. Now, ECG, there is 2 leads. Let's just go a little bit, technical. Now, when you see this typical elevated segment in the ECG, this is something called ST elevation myocardial infarction, meaning this is the worst type of heart attack you could get. Something bad is happening. What we can't change in remote location, including offshore, is that medically gold standard, the moment you have a chest pain, you must arrive in the emergency room within 30 minutes. I do not think it's possible. Not now. Not now. Or should we build a hospital in offshore? Not quite possible, because we probably, if we are really far out, we're going to put one doctor, one medic, or one doctor, two medics. But you still can't achieve this 30 minutes. Why so? We need a boat or a helicopter between, the first moment a medical person say, hey, you need to get out, and an ambulance arrival. So if we can't change that, what can we do? Then probably we want people to report early that they probably is having a heart attack. All right. And even if we could get to the shore at time, we will see in many challenging locations, it is good to have a cardiologist, the heart specialist, who can put a catheter in and inflate a balloon or put a stent. But more often than not, like where I live in Kuala Lumpur. So sometimes I will get cases from offshore Terengganu. It is from Gulf of Thailand and coming down. I noticed in this capital of state of Terengganu called Kuala Terengganu, the only government hospital who has a cardiologist, but the catheter lab is giving you an appointment 14 days to 30 days later. I do not think the survival outcome is going to be that great. So this probably is the thing we can't change now for offshore environment. So the only thing we could do is we alert the crews. We look after each other. We know that you look really funny. Why are you sweating? Are you okay? Or we just say, hey, I think you are probably having a heart attack. So far, the youngest who have had a heart attack, because he's young, so he had a cardiac arrest, his pulse came back and he survived. He's only 27 years old. Never smoked a day. He doesn't have high cholesterol in his blood, and his weight is normal. He has perfect BMI. He doesn't drink as well. Yeah. Okay. Um, don't trust me, okay? Trust the world data. Now, is offshore a subset of the world, or it is not part of the world? I think this is something that um, medical doctors can get truly wrong. Offshore environment, I feel personally, sometimes could be forgotten by our medical practitioners on shore. They have no time to look after offshore people, and maybe that is why we are around doing what we call remote health support or topside support, because the emergency room people, they won't be having the time to take phone calls, look at ECGs from community in offshore. um the whole world, cardiovascular disease, so all the heart attacks, all the stroke is leading cause of death. Again, is it the same in Thailand? Yes, I just checked with Dr. Jamon. The government data is leading cause of that is heart attack. Malaysia as well. We are a bit slow in Malaysia. 2023, my data is still not out yet, but Thailand is out. But at least year on year, most people die of heart attack in Malaysia. So it's the same in the United Kingdom, other parts of the Western world, Australasian, and even more so in a less developed country. I have, so no engineers asked me, would this go away? So I asked the engineers and the HSE practitioner, can I recommend you to do something to make heart attack go away or happen less? So I proposed something a little bit daring. But nobody really gave me a stare. I said, why not fitness to work? We put in angiogram for everyone. So they said, no, Dr. Chan, no. It works like this. If you are above 40 years old, we are pretty okay if you do a 12 leads ECG and stress test. Now we all must understand this. We are having aging workforce in the world, actually everyone is still pretty healthy. One thing we probably can't prevent the aging process from happening is the heart health. However, if we are gonna put a stent, not a stent, sorry, angiogram catheter, and do an angiogram on every single man and woman above 40 years old, check whether they have one blockage, two, or complete three blockages, and call them fit to go to offshore, then who is going to work offshore? So I I don't think it will happen in the near future. So then again, what can we do? We just could rely on early detection. We must always think that dizziness, that sudden fainting episode during the meeting may really be a concealed heart attack that has happened, be it happening at shore or in offshore. So we need to investigate. All right. Okay. So Malaysia is number one ASEAN country for diabetes. Thailand is pretty okay, really, because everyone walks a lot here. That's what I believe. It's not really about the sugar intake. Things are pretty sweet and nice here, but because everyone is quite active. Um, Brunei has just gained the trophy of the highest percentage of people having obesity. It was Malaysia as well. Yeah. So we can do something to prevent heart attacks, control the blood pressure, keep the waistline okay, try not to get diabetes. Okay. This is maybe we can achieve that. Let's talk about injury before time runs out. Now, injury cases is pretty low, and it should stay this way because oil and gas sector spends so much investment, so much time, daily toolbox briefing to tell people wear your hard hat, wear your compact gloves, make sure you know how to do your job, take a break if you are tired, right? Hard stop if you don't feel well. So because of that, we could see injuries would still happen, but most of the people who had injuries are actually contractors. They have some common points when they have injuries. I notice they could be doing those hard labor job, right? They are roughnecks, roustabout. I hardly see engineers getting injuries. It is the education level. So I think we can continue to work on people need to train well for whatever they do. Most interestingly, for offshore only, we only see this in offshore because I do other remote site support as well, like mining and etc. But for offshore, finger injury is the key type of injury. Okay, let's do some quiz. These are real photos. I would like some volunteers to tell me, should I call that medevac chopper? I do not know how much it costs in Thailand really, but in Malaysia, I think it is about 800,000 baht to 1 million baht for a medevac chopper. Okay, so photo A. Do you call for an emergency medevac chopper? Photo A, meaning as soon as possible, this chap must arrive at the emergency room. Any takers? Anyone? Photo A? Or should we wait tomorrow, 12 hours later for crew change, boat or chopper? Thank you. Yes, open wound. So, okay, I'll just gotta leave the podium for a while. So sometimes what happened is that, like when I'm doing the case, my side medic didn't show me the other side of the finger. Oh, okay. They didn't show me the other side of the finger. It is actually dangling. It's almost gone, right? Now, okay. Photo B. Any taker? Don't look so bad. So this part we call it the nail bait. can wait. Anyone who did not want to wait? Thank you. This one can wait. So if one day you are the rig manager or the authorizing personnel, then I'm gonna get some money to call for a medevac chopper. You will tell Dr. Chan, you have another Dr. Chan teaching you and say no medevac. No. I wouldn't call for a medevac. Okay? No. Nail bed injury, we will know. We are not seeing this kind of bone, to be fair, right? To be fair. Okay. This is actually the mechanism of injury was 1 ton metal plate falling from about 3 meters height. The chap was, doing something on another metallic surface. He must be quite brave. He pulled out the finger. Would you send him out? He looks quite okay. I don't see this bone here. Yeah, thank you. We have to send him out. Mechanism of injury means everything, right? So when I'm in a hospital, I'm not too big on mechanism of injury. When I do offshore medical support, mechanism of injury is everything. Okay, you guys are still okay, right? Now this is a tiny amputated tip of the middle finger. I found it. So do you give it a chance? I just give you some tip. You want to replant a finger, you must have a clean cut across the digit, right? And then you must keep it properly. Do not put it in contact with direct ice. You have to put it in the wet gauze and then wrap it with plastic bag, and then another plastic bag containing the ice. You put this plastic bag into the larger plastic bag. Now, microsurgeon or hand surgeon is the gold standard to replant something. So just look at this photo. Do you want to send him out? Anyone who may not want to send him out? This is such a big length. So Dr. Chan, this is what, 5 mm? Anyone do not want to send this gentleman out? Okay, I take it all of you might want to send this gentleman out. Just to share with everyone, when there's a finger amputation, I realize there's a lot of cosmesis in offshore. Another 100 crew is looking at the rig manager and OIM. No, rig manager don't stay in offshore. Say visiting rig manager with the OIM. Do another 100 crew is looking at them. Oh, so next time when I have this kind of finger amputation, I will not be deserving of any medevac. I have seen and I understand why. Actually, clinically, this cannot be replanted. What we are going to do in the hospital is I'm just going to shave the bone shorter and then do a flap. That's it. But why he or she would still be sent out is because number one, duty of care. Number two, it sends the right message to the rest of the crew on the rig or platform, and sometimes that money spent will prevent further medical liability or lawsuit to the company. So I noticed this is what is happening in our past many cases. But of all the finger amputation, be it small length or big length, none of them got replanted really. Yeah. All right. This is the third most common medical emergency. One day, um, a patient, be it a male or female, is just feeling a little bit lightheaded, looks really pale, telling that passing black stool and vomiting blood. So nobody quite believed it. So there was a whole hand basin of fresh blood or the whole toilet bowl of black stew. Now, it's not diarrhea. Uh, this person has been bleeding secretly from some part of from the stomach. I just want to show you the ages: 33, 52, 42, 44, 31, 27, 29. If you have heard about things like this, what would you think their risk factor is to have bleeding in the stomach? Anyone want to take a guess? Food. Okay. More commonly, alcohol. Yes. Yes. But let's not stereotype the people who are bleeding really badly. These are real patients, right? Some of them they never drank a drop. So there will be people who every day talk about, oh, I have reflux. I have reflux. They probably is having this bacteria called H. pylori. Some of you may heard before. And the reflux will cause erosion in some parts of the stomach. And if they make it alive, and all this must be emergency medevac, okay? Someone puking blood, having black stew, fainted, woke up. Just to give you a tip, someone who has passed out and look really pale, by the stroke of luck, they come back to life. Don't keep them. In the next couple of hours, it could be 6 hours or so, they probably will present as a sudden cardiac arrest case. Because if you look at the opening hemoglobin, all these are men, by the way, men hemoglobin should be at least, I think, 14 to 15 gram. Some of them you could see they have bled so much, but they did not die on the spot, right? What I get a bit worried and COVID for offshore cases who are bleeding is because there is zero blood products possible in offshore. No matter how much IV fluid I'm putting in, I sometimes could only sustain the blood pressure for about an hour or two. So I will need that helicopter to come my way. Okay. This is probably one of the worst medical emergencies that we need to take really seriously. And then of course the chest pain. Um, I just want to touch about mental health. It's World Mental Health Month. Okay. We have a foundation now. This for non-profit. Conducted survey from 200 remote workers who does rotational work. 1 month on, 1 month off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or 3 weeks, 3 weeks. 59 respondent stays in Asia. There are some from the Australasian and Europe. 46% of them are employees. 33% they are managerial posts. 81% male. I think it's because in offshore world we don't see many ladies these days. Yeah. And they're all above averagely above 41 years old. 70% of them they have a partner. Okay. And 95% of them have zero problems with mental health before. Now, this we have to take into consideration. There's some effect of the acute lockdown and a very difficult green bubble period during the COVID days. I think something really good is that let's talk about the positive things. What are the great things you get if you work as a rotational worker in remote site? 84% of them felt very engaged at work. I believe so, because you are 12 hours shift, you do your work and you have a goal to achieve. I think that is correct. But more concerning is that 40% reported they have suicidal thoughts before. And the question they have answered to yes, 29% of them actually qualify for clinical depression, but they are highly functional. They are functional. Now, I think for social part of life, I believe this is correct. 40% of them felt that they have work-life balance, maybe because rotational work. Perhaps they are in a remote site slightly more than 50% of the time, maybe. So you can actually have good work-life balance. This is interesting. Please tell me if you agree with this. Because you're a rotational worker, you're not allowed to drink at work. 76% less likely to consume alcohol irresponsibly. I think that's correct, right? That's correct. So all those bleeding gut cannot be really due to chronic alcohol abuse, because 50% of the time in a year you can't even get a drop of alcohol. And very few people can get a bleeding gut from a weekend of heavy binge drinking. So it doesn't work that way. I think last but not least, I just want to share a portion of them say they don't eat so healthily in offshore. Because of that, maybe there's some weight issue, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol and high blood sugar. And it can be a bit difficult to exercise. I think safety-wise, we are not supposed to run and do stretches on helideck and areas like that. So just want to alert everyone. I'm not able to crunch totally the 2024 data. It's already mid-October this year. We see some hike in cases in acute mental health crisis. We have individuals who may have lost their life in remote area, and also people who have planned and executed self-inflicted injuries in offshore environment. So other than the three other top emergencies that we could see, we could measure, I think this would be the most difficult ones in the years to come. So with that, this is my own thoughts about the whole offshore industry. I believe offshore industry, oil and gas, has achieved so much technologically, spent a lot of money on doing that, even having a strict measures to self-govern, not always needing a law to tell the industry what to do. But the challenges is it is very harsh environment surrounded by great depths of water, and I can't build the whole hospital in offshore. I can't even have blood there. I can't even have an X-ray machine, or CT scan. Although the environment is very complex, but I think the whole industry has worked with medically trained people like myself, like Dr. Jamon, and my many, many colleagues working in offshore to save a great number of lives. And some of you must be involved in that, and I thank you really for that nick of time, critical moment you have given your support. And this is the last slide. I can take any questions.
Hey, time for questions. Please raise your hand if you have one. Yes, and state your name. Tell us who you are and ask a question, please.
Oh, okay. Thanks. My name is Robert Young, and I was about the monitoring people, for the heart attack or the symptoms and so on in advance. I was talking to the Petronas people. This was before the COVID,
Okay.
and I was trying to promote the use of these wearables, where you monitor your temperature, pulse, moisture, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and it goes through your cell phone and then to a database in real time. So you have a computer watching everybody's temperatures and things like that.
Correct.
And of course, the oil business being funny like it is, they didn't want to spend any money on this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, I know it's hard to believe they're that funny, but we talk about safety, like you mentioned, but when it comes to spending money, they're really funny. And so anyway, to make a long story short, Petronas said, no, we don't have any money for something like this. And I had IBM lined up, to do real-time acquisition and all this kind of stuff. And but has anybody done any of this stuff? I mean, on any of the rigs that you've seen, or I mean,
Yeah, Robert, actually, we did a pilot for Petronas.
ah, well, Petronas is good for stealing ideas too.
I didn't. That's the origin, right? So, it probably you were one of the key opinion leader (KOL) that sparked this in them. I remember it is, let me see, 2 hour.
Uh,
The patient still can't reach an emergency room.
oh,
So then it started very simply. It is just, you can't do wearables. I have asked for wearables is because it will ignite. It will spark a ignition in the open space. So, okay. Then I rest my case. And then we came up with a way to ask, okay, why not, we have this cardiac monitor, various brands, right? Can I just do a simple that time we were using I think it's called Link, and then now it become Teams,
mm,
right?
mm,
It's just doing a simple video call. So what we did was that this particular person is having the cardiac tracing, and then call me, and I could dial in a cardiologist.
yeah.
Yeah,
Log in remote.
correct. So it was very primitive. It was just a simple video call, no extra investment. It's just that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, until now, I think in the open deck area, uh, there is still no allowance of doing wearables.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We still say safety, hard hat, and all that. Yada.
yeah.
What can I ask one more question? People are not aware, but the WHO, the World Health Organization, has got a lot more power now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about the COVID when people had to lock down on the well sites. The wells platforms
Yeah.
offshore and the rigs. And of course, you had the mental illness and people
Yes.
killing themselves or whatnot. It seems like now with the monkeypox and something, there's gonna be more viruses coming out. It's political. But do you have any sort of preparation plans in advance for all this nonsense that's going to be potentially happening? When they say we got to shut down, like they did
Yeah.
with the COVID period.
So monkeypox is it's probably not gonna be the last, right? That we're gonna hear about. No. So like Kun Vitaya, myself, Dr. Jamon are very worried. What if our client asks, oh, are you ready? Are we gonna do it again? Yeah. So I think what we learned from COVID will stay, but based on the virulence or how many people would actually die of monkeypox, we will just say, Robert, let's not do the 14 days quarantine, go offshore, work 1 month, and then come back, quarantine another 14 days. By the time it's already half a year gone, right? So I think, thank goodness, WHO didn't do too much of a alarming announcement. If not, today we probably won't be so chill and sitting here again. We are going to do the green bubble again and things like that. Yeah, I sincerely hope it won't come back anymore. It was also quite a tough part of my medical life. Uh, and I do hope that if it does come back, the scale of COVID, then we do the green bubble again. Yeah, probably a shorter timing. So maybe is 7 days okay? Uh, because unfortunately now after COVID, a lot of us probably would have that heightened awareness of mental health. If we could, we don't want to put people through that just because people need to maintain operations and people need to earn a living, right? So let's hope that's not the case in the future. Yeah.
Any more questions? We have free clinics today, free consultations. Any more students? Any questions?
Hello, my
Hi.
name is JJ, Nathan from Chulalongkorn University, Department of Geology. I had a little question like, it is possible to build a small hospital well equipped to handle any possible incident in the close proximity to a nearby offshore.
You're asking about proximity, right?
Yes, like small hospital, like small hospital in the offshore.
Okay. Um, it is certainly ideal. If I have three wishes, probably one of it I will give it to the offshore community that we have a very robust hospital-like setup. But unfortunately, things like X-ray, I believe is not able to be installed in offshore environment because we have the need to measure the potential radioisotope that is present in offshore facility, right? We can't have another X-ray machine um, to alter the reading that we need to cater to. But if we do not have X-ray, we actually now we can use portable ultrasound to check for fractures of the, for example, the hand. So maybe I don't need to send every single person with a crooked hand or swollen hand to shore anymore. Blood, unfortunately, almost in all parts of the world, we cannot bring to offshore environment. We cannot because blood needs to be stored in under certain conditions, and offshore probably the very luxurious setting. Don't talk about cruise, okay? We are just talking about working rigs or platforms or vessels or floating hotel, people where people stay. We probably can only see say max due to the size of number of people. We can put in two doctors and two nurses, but they have to run 24 hours. But I can give you some good news. If we do know the shore hospital is very primitive, our concept is that it's better to have something that looks like a hospital than zero hospital. So you go to the emergency room, we stabilize and we move very quickly. But if the shore side has no hospital, sometimes it happens, then we need to stock up important medications, like medication that can dissolve the clot in the heart in offshore environment. But that is not without a risk. You dissolve the heart clot, you make a bleeding brain. So what should I do, right? Um, I think we can give a thought about risk assessment. So new projects you would see later in your career, you will be a geologist. You are one of the first group of people who will go to very far and cheap location when there is no platforms or rigs around you. So you must keep healthy, okay?
Okay,
Ah,
thank you very much.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we have time for one last questions. If anyone would like to. Last questions once. Last question twice. Okay, no more questions.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so on behalf of SPE Thailand, may I have Kun Ronald Thay, the section president, to provide the token of appreciations to the speakers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, just a few more slides before we finish for the evening. But first of all, I would like to certainly thanks to Dr. Shan. Of all the talks that we have, in fact, actually, or the talk that I've arranged for the past 4 or 5 years, this one is perhaps the most one that close to your heart. Um, because it's basically it's something that could happen to you, and this one touched the most. So thank you very much. Okay, so promoting the next meeting, again, the third Thursday of the month. This will be the last meetings of the year because we don't have one in December. The talk will be by the reservoir engineer from PTTEP, Kun Thananya. The topic is capturing risks and uncertainties and reducing bias through probabilistic approach. Okay. Same place here at the Landmark Hotel. Just to share with you that the cycle of the SPE Distinguished Lecturers is coming up again. I'm sure if you join our meeting regularly, you know we have the SPE Distinguished Lecturers. These are the experts who travel around the world and giving the talks on their expertise. We are going to have 2 of them in the upcoming months. And this basically, if you are interested, please let us know. There are processes that you can go through. But just to quickly explain, these are not rocket science, right? I mean, you don't have to be super duper mathematicians. You just be expertise at your area, and then you can be named for it. Let us know. We can name you in. Okay. The process of timeline, that now the nomination is open, and there will be a final selection happening here in Bangkok by the SPEDL committee. 30 successful applicants will be sent on global tours, as I mentioned, around the world. And these are basically giving the widespread recognition and global exposure to everyone, where the cost of travel and expense will be supported by the SPE International. Okay. The promotions or promoting the SPE workshop that's happening here in Thailand. It's a main host sponsor is PTTP and Velura. You can see a few of the keynote speakers on the screen. If you're interested, there's still time to join and reserve your seat for today. Okay, the CPEX, which is another society based in Singapore, they will have a SEC 2025. This is happening on the 6th to the 9th of May at the Fairmont Hotel, Singapore. If you're interested, please go to their website and get more information. If you are geoscience students, I think we have a few. There are some clubs that you can join under CPEX as well. Again, you can go to their website and register yourself. There are several ways to get in touch with SPE Thailand. Facebook, LinkedIn, and Line Official. If you can scan on the screen, it will link you to all these things. Okay. And lucky draw. Nat, can you help? Dr. Shan, can you come up? Okay, we have 2 prize for the draw. Just one at a time, please.
I don't know what they are, but they're some kind of animals.
Yeah, some, I don't know, art toy or something. Okay, this go to students from Chulalongkorn University. His name start with P. Kun Pirapat Sawatgit Thamrong, I think. Please come up. You are the lucky person. Photo? Okay, congratulations,ครับ. Second one. Again, Chulalongkorn University. Name start with S. Last name start with O. Surayut. Yep, Surayut. Now there you go on the back. Please come up. Thank you. Engineer speak. Oh, okay, don't forget to join the CPEX club. Okay, and that's it. We conclude for tonight. Thanks again for our sponsors. Again, if you want your company names up here, company logo up here, please let us know. Supporting us only 30,000 bahts and seasons. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, and have a safe journey. Once again, sorry that we did not have alcohol today. We also did not notice. We were informed by the hotel just yesterday that tonight is prohibited. Otherwise, we would have moved to other days. This is the sober meeting. All right.